What is going on, guys? Heath Shankles here with Freedom Marketer. Another beautiful day here in North Alabama. It is turning fall here and it is so nice. I don't know what the weather's like up north right now, but down here, I don't know. It's still a little bit hot, but it's not every day. You know, that hot weather's kind of starting to break and turn fall, so I'm loving it. All right, so what we're going to talk about today is the different types of real estate deals that you can do, okay? Now, if you don't know me, you've never been on one of my videos, never seen my channel, whatever, know this. I have spent thousands and thousands of dollars on real estate courses, and I've spent hours and hours and days and months and years doing real estate. So, you know, I'm not going to say I'm the best investor there is out there or the best whatever. Not really a guru, I'm more of a duru. I have multiple businesses, so I'm a true entrepreneur and a true duru. Like, I get out here and do it. So anything I'm coaching or teaching you, that's something that I either do it now or I've done it, you know what I mean? So I'm going to give it to you as straight as I can, and my content is like as raw as it gets, okay? Because I don't edit this stuff. I don't edit anything. Might add some music or whatever, you know, but you know, bearing that I don't make a horrible mistake of some sort or say a bad word, yeah, you're going to get it exactly how I recorded it. So let's jump into this stuff, all right? And hit the subscribe button, dude. Come on, man. What do you, I mean, why ain't you subscribed yet if you just now found this? Don't you want to grow and learn, move forward? Okay. First thing, let's go with this. Rent to own, all right? I'm sure you've heard of rent to own, right? So it's not that complicated. All it is a piece of paper, a contract, maybe 1 page, maybe 2 pages, contract, a rental agreement. But in this agreement, it's basically saying that, you know, you put in your deposit or whatever. Usually, most deals have a deposit to begin with, and then you pay rent, right? And that rent, either 100% of it, all of it, or part of it goes towards the principal balance. You agree to begin with when you sign the deal, like this house is, just say for example, $100,000. So you've agreed to buy this house, rent to own this house, but the purchase price is $100,000. So say the rent's $500 a month. You pay $500 a month, goes straight to the principal, all of it. Like, so now then, after month 1 you owe $99,500. After month 2 you owe $99,000, then $89,500, then $89,000, right? That $500 goes 100% no interest towards the principal. You might do a deal with some interest or whatever, but eventually, you know, you'll have that house paid off. It's a rent to own. Then you'll become the owner. They will transfer the deed, which is the paperwork that says, hey, you're the owner now, to you, to your name at the attorney's office. You know, you can do these deals different. That's the great thing about real estate, without me, you know, getting too off track here. Real estate deals can be drawn up a million different ways, okay? And it's different state to state, the laws and the rules. And, you know, I'm not an attorney, so you'll need to talk to an attorney about that when you start doing real estate. Let them overlook your paperwork and make sure there's not something you need to add in there into the contract or whatever, and so on. Just make sure you're doing things legally and morally right, okay? I'm big on that. Okay, so that's what rent to own is. You're just paying rent, which means that you can leave at any time, or you can purchase it. And usually there's a stipulation, whatever you want to call it, addendum, if it's not in there to begin with, put into the contract saying that you can buy out early, which means you can purchase the house early. So say you signed a 15-year deal on a rent-to-own deal, that $100,000 house. Well, that means that 3 years in, if you go get a loan for the remaining balance, the remaining principal, which is what you owe, that means you can buy it early. You don't have to wait the whole 15 years or 30 years if you've done a 30-year deal. You can go on and purchase it now as long as you have the money to pay whatever else you owe on the remaining principal balance, okay? So that's rent to own, okay? Now, the difference between, next is owner finance, right? The difference between rent to own and owner finance is you don't have the deed in your name on a rent to own deal until you pay off that remaining principal. Whether you pay it month by month or pay for a few years and then go on and buy it out, borrow the money, you don't have the deed in your name. The person you're renting it from does. The laws for you are going to be where you're just a renter, you're just a tenant for the time being until you get that thing deeded into your name, right? Now here's the difference. If you're an investor and you want to own rentals, or you're trying to decide, should I do rent to own for my tenants or owner finance? Should I go in and deed it to them, or should I keep the deed in my name and just rent it out to them? Here's the difference, okay? Rent to own, they don't have the deed. They're just a renter. By law, you can evict them really quick. Whatever your laws in your state are for evicting people, for evicting renters and tenants, it's going to be that way. Now, if they owner financed it and you give the deed to them, you deeded the property to them from the get-go, from the very beginning, you're just becoming the bank. In an owner finance deal, the person who owns the house, you know, say I've got this house sitting here. Now I sell this house to someone and I let them owner finance it. Now I become the bank. As I sold it for $100,000. That was the agreement price, right? We drew up the paperwork. Say, you know, we do the amortization schedule and all that to where they have a set payment every month. I just become the bank. I pretend that they had the $100,000 in cash, or they went and borrowed it from a bank and got a mortgage or a loan, and now then their payments just come to me, and it's deeded to them. They are the owner. What that does as an investor, this is the reason why people are different on this morally, but when it comes to this, a lot of investors, to protect themselves, their business, their LLC, and their company, and their money, they will just do rent to own and not owner finance to people, because it's a whole lot easier to get someone out if they're destroying your house or not paying rent, not paying the monthly payment, and so on. It's a whole lot easier to get them out if you just did rent to own and you didn't do owner financing. You didn't deed it to them. Once you deed that property to them and owner finance it to them, it becomes a whole lot harder to get them out of there if they stop paying, because now they're technically the owners and you're just the bank pretty much, you know. And then you're looking at like kind of like foreclosure, which requires attorneys and this, that, and the other, you know, a lot of time, a lot of different laws come into effect, a lot of different things that play there. So that's the difference between rent to own and owner finance. You're giving your tenant or whoever you sell the house to a lot more leverage if you deed them that house and do an owner finance deal rather than rent to own. That's the reason why me as an investor, when I go out here and buy a property, I try to get owner finance every single time. I try to get them to deed me that property and let me just pay like a $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 down payment on the property as if I'm buying it with a mortgage, and get them to go in and deed that sucker to me. That way it's already in my name. You know, for whatever reason, if something were to ever go wrong, it would be a whole lot harder for them to take that house back from me, which, you know, I've never missed a payment in my life, and, you know, that's the way you want to be. But hey, it's just, it gives you more leverage, okay? As a renter, you know that, like, you can get messed with a pretty good bit as a renter. You don't have a whole lot of power there. You can't even really make changes to the property, like painting the walls or adding on to it or anything like that, unless you have written permission. See, when you own or finance something, you can literally like add on to it, build onto it, because it's yours. It's deeded to you. You see what I'm saying? As a renter on your apartment building or apartment, you can't just go paint the walls, do this, do that, add on to it, add a bathroom without getting in big trouble, you know, unless you had permission from the landlord. Okay, so that's the difference. You guys are getting this, like, you understanding this, the difference between rent to own and owner finance. I try to lay this out to where you can understand it, like, you know, simple as it can be. Okay, all right, let's move on. Subject 2. Now this is a lot more complicated, and you're definitely going to want to get with an attorney on this to do it the right way. And I'm not going to go into massive detail on this, okay? Because I don't want to stretch this video too long. But subject 2 is a type of real estate deal where subject 2 means subject to the existing financing that's already in place. So say I'm an investor, I go out here I put out my marketing, I get a call from somebody who says, hey, I want to sell my house. We get to talking about everything, and it turns out the way the numbers work out that, you know, they've got a mortgage in place, right? And we just agreed that my company, I'll just take over their payments. I'll just leave their mortgage there. Leave it alone. Don't call the mortgage lenders. Don't call them. Don't call the bank. Don't say, hey, I'm wanting to buy this house from these people and I see they've got a loan with you still, or don't have the seller call them or nothing like that. You just do a subject to deal, which means subject to existing financing. You leave that loan in place and you just make the payments. Now, automatically that can, there's a clause called a due on sale clause that is in every single paperwork that there is on a mortgage for someone buying a house. I've looked at it myself on multiple houses. It's way down in there in the paperwork, but there's a little paragraph there that says due on sale clause, which means that the moment the deed switches hands, they're going to deed you the property, but you're going to leave the loan there, the mortgage there, and make the payments on it, right? Okay, so if you stop making payments, that's really what's going to cause that due on sale clause to come in effect. If you do not stop making payments and you make them on time, like you're agreeing to and you're supposed to, doing the morally correct thing, then you'll never have to worry about it 99% of the time. Just, 99% of the time. It's not a guaranteed fact, but just know that if you make the payments, you'll be all right. If not, the moment that deed switches hands and you purchase the house and y'all agree to this subject to contract, they technically by law can come and enact the due on sale clause, which means that every bit of the remaining principal balance that seller owes on that house, on that mortgage, is due right then in full. Cash money. Better have it. Like that's what that clause means. It's just that these it costs them so much money to do a foreclosure, man. Dude, it costs them so much money. They have to hire foreclosure attorneys and then hire lawn care people to mow the grass and everything else. Do the upkeep on the house. This is a foreclosure process is like a 6-month, maybe even a year or longer process sometimes, depending on the state and the situation. But the different states, there's a buyback rule where like they can buy if they get behind and then all of a sudden they get a loan or they get a good job, make a bunch of money, they can come back and make up all them back payments and then buy the house back, right? So like if you're an investor, you think you got this house because someone lost it due to foreclosure, and then they come and buy it back. You have to look into all this stuff. State by state, the real estate laws are different. So that's what subject to is, though. You're just leaving the existing financing there. The existing mortgage stays in place. You make the payments now, okay? All right, let's move on. Sorry, guys, I get like off into this stuff like way too far. I know it, you know what I mean? I know so much about it, and I just hate to give you just like a little tidbit of information and then you're like, yeah, but I don't fully understand. I don't want you to be like that. I want you to understand what's going on here, what I'm telling you, and to learn and grow and get into being an investor yourself. If it's something that you're looking into doing, it's not as complicated as what you might think. It's just not. There's just a few things, you know what I mean? You need to learn them, get them down, and there you go, just like anything else. Okay. Obviously, I've got here traditional loan from a lender. Obviously, that's a type of real estate deal. You just go and get a mortgage. You go and borrow money from a lender, from either your personal bank or some, private bank, or you go to Rocket Mortgage or whoever, and go get some big loan from some big mortgage lender, okay? That's the traditional way to buy homes, okay? So you understand that. It's pretty simple, okay? Then you can get a personal loan from a family member, a friend, just anyone who has the money that you don't have. They give you the money to go buy a house. You can do that, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter where the money comes from as long as the money's there. All right. Then there is a lease option, okay? Lease option it's a lease. It's kind of like a rental agreement, okay? And I'm not really sure. I've never been able to understand the difference between a lease and a rental agreement. because it's pretty much the same, like just with different verbiage, different words. You know, maybe I'm wrong, but you know, like I said, I'm not, you know, I didn't invent real estate, so I don't know every little thing, but I'm telling you that I don't know the difference between, I've never heard anyone talk about the difference between lease and rental, but lease with option to purchase is like the same as rent to own. You know what I mean? Like, you've got basically a lease agreement, which is a rental agreement pretty much, with, you know, say it's a 12-month, there's a time limit on it, right, that you agree to, 6 month, 3 month, 1 month, you do it month by month. However you want to do it. That's the beauty of real estate. You can draw it up however you want. Whatever type of, you know, agreement that you and the person who has the house come to, if you're the buyer, you know what I mean? Or if you're the seller, you're the investor who has the property, there you go. Come to an agreement with your buyer, you know, or your tenant. So lease with option to purchase is kind of like just rent to own. You are leasing the property with the option to purchase it. And you can do that however you want. You can draw it up to where they can't purchase it until they've been there for 10 years from the date you guys signed the contract and all that. Or you can do it where immediately they start making these monthly payments or whatever, and they have the option to purchase it right then if they want to. See what I'm saying? It's the same as like a rent to own. Don't know why they call it something different than that. I really don't. Maybe it has something to do with like commercial property versus private single-family homes, property like that. Maybe it has something to do with that. The verbiage is different, but anyways, that is the gist of this, guys. What I just explained to you: rent to own, owner finance, traditional loan, personal loan, lease option, subject to. You know, these are the types of real estate deals that you can do and that you need to know. If you're looking at getting into real estate, boom, there you go. I'm going to be doing a video probably tomorrow on how to get into real estate, like the different ways that you can come into real estate, like being a real estate agent or an investor or whatever, like the different angles that if you've never been in real estate but you're thinking about it or you just want to know more about it, teach you how to, like the different options, the routes that you can go to get into real estate. I'll be doing that tomorrow, okay? So tune in for that, all right? And subscribe if you have not subscribed to this channel, all right? These things, learn these, guys. Subject to owner finance, rent to own, traditional loan, personal loan, lease option. And hey, if I forgot something, I left something out, I apologize, but those are the main squeeze, dude. Those are the main ways to buy a house, or if you're an investor and you're wanting to sell a house or rent a house, that's how you do it, okay? That gives you the gist of it, all right? I hope you guys got some value from this. I truly do. That's all I'm here for, is to bring you value, help you move forward with your life, with your business, or if mainly, you know, if you're working a job somewhere, quit. Be able to quit that job and go and live your life, man. Dude, I worked a job for a long time. I don't even know how many jobs I worked. It was a bunch of them. I've done everything from serve tables to work on oil rigs. Like, I was a bouncer at frat parties for the University of Alabama. Like, dude, 4 different frat parties a week. Like, oh my gosh, bathtubs full of beer, sorority girls and fraternity guys everywhere, and you know, jabbing their beer cans with a key and standing in a circle wearing dresses and drinking it, like weird hazing stuff. You know, there's not much I've not seen or done. So I run multiple businesses now. I've changed my life, you know, came from the bottom. So you can do it. You can do it. It doesn't take being a mad scientist or have some special high IQ or anything like that. It's about what's in here. It's hard, dude, but it starts here in your mindset. You got to change your mindset and realize that you can do it. You can do it, whatever it is. Don't care what it is. You can do it. Ask for help. If you don't know, reach out to someone who does. Ask me. I don't care. I'll give you the best answer I can. Subscribe. Hit the bell icon so that you're notified every time I upload another video. Comment. Hit the thumbs up, dude. Show some support, man. I work hard at these videos. All right. See you guys on the next one. Bye for now.